State of California, County of Ventura, affidavit of Richard English for probable cause, in support of a warrant, for the arrest of Thomas J. Fedida. Richard English has first-hand knowledge, and is informed, and therefore believes and therefore alleges that Thomas J. Fedida is guilty of conspiracy, violating California Penal Code Section 182. Thomas J. Fedida is a member of a conspiracy together with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarger, who did agree to commit a conspiracy violating Section 182 of the California Penal Code by agreeing to file a false instrument, to wit, proof of service, register of actions 8 violating Section 115 of the California Penal Code, a felony, preparing false documentary evidence, to wit, proof of service, register of action number 8, violating Section 134 of the California Penal Code, a felony, identity theft on a proof of service, register of action number 8 violating Section 530.5 of the California Penal Code, a felony, false personation on a proof of service, register of action number 8 violating Section 529.2 of the California Penal Code, a felony, forgery on a proof of service, register of action number 8 violating Section 470D of the California Penal Code, a felony, knowingly making 100, Code 3, false report of an emergency, violating Section 148.5 to wit, violation of Emergency Protective Order EPO known as SWATN, between July 2019 to August 2022, February 23, 2023, and, during a COVID-19 pandemic, Richard English was illegally arrested and evicted by the aforesaid conspirators' concerted acts of terrorism known as SWATN and by use of force, fear and intimidation orchestrated by mastermind Thomas J. Fedida, a California licensed attorney, State Bar Number ISBN 30761, and a real estate agent, licensed Fruit Department of Real Estate, 3-019-3460, also an architect D/B/Fedida Properties D/B/FEI Enterprises, with real estate holdings exceeding $100 million. Fedida Properties D/B/FEI Enterprises receives City of Los Angeles contracts for surveillance equipment at LA, Unified School System and Los Angeles Fire Department, home security and surveillance, and is currently building 900 low-income apartment units for the City of Los Angeles that involves state and federal money. Zach Miller Jr., S. Attorney Thomas J. Fedida D/B/ of Fedida Properties D/B/FEI Enterprises did conspire during the relevant period with Thousand Oaks Mayor Engler and Captain Matt Young of the Ventura County Sheriff's Department acting under color of law, without the authority of law, to evict Richard English and in violation of clearly established law, specifically Civil Code Section 19-42.8, which requires a 3-day notice to cure alleged defects, as well as Governor Newsom's eviction moratorium and mandatory stay-at-home orders in both Los Angeles and in Ventura County. Thomas J. Fedida stalked Richard English from Hollywood to Ventura County and advised Zach Miller Jr. how to evict Richard English. I'm making 100 Code 3, 911 swatting calls in Ventura County, based on the Emergency Protective Order EPO that Thomas J. Fedida did not properly serve on Richard English. The primary object of Thomas J. Fedida conspiracy with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. has been successfully achieved, since Richard English is now evicted and continues to be illegally restrained from travel to and from his work and home 2200 Nichols Canyon Road, Los Angeles, California 90046, and to his 35 Fleetwood motorhome that was legally parked on private property, located at 4 West Avenida de las Flores, Thousand Oaks 90, 360, as a result of Thomas J. Fedida sua service, a fraud on the court and on Richard English. Count 1. Fraud on the court on August 5, 2022, at 8:05 p.m. Thomas J. Fedida ISBN 30760 when was caught on camera committing sua service of Miller's emergency protective order at 4 West Avenida de las Flores, Thousand Oaks, California 90360. The phrase, sua service, refers to the figure of speech of throwing legal documents into a sewer, and this is considered a serious fraud upon the court. Sua service is an epithet for Thomas J. Fedida intentional failure to provide service of process on Richard English of Zachary Allen Miller Jr. as emergency protective order, EPO in the case of Millerverse, English Ventura Superior Court No. 56 2020 2005668543, in order to prevent Richard English from having a chance to respond. Count 2. File false or forged instrument to the said Thomas J. Fedida SBN 30761, on or about between August 5, 2022 and August 11, 2022 and August 31, 2022 did willfully, unlawfully and knowingly procure and offer a false and forged instrument, to wit, Register of Action No. 8, a proof of service ch. 200 of notice of court hearing ch. 109 on Richard English in the case of Miller v.S. English Ventura Superior Court No. 56 2022 005668543, upon which Thomas J. Fedida, a California licensed attorney, caused to be forged the signature of Matthew Jarger, Register of Action No. 8, on August 5, 2022 under penalty of perjury, and caused to be filed and allowed to be filed said forged instrument, Register of Action No. 8, with the Ventura County Superior Court on August 11, 2022, a public offense, within the state, violating Section 115 of the California Penal Code, a felony. Thomas J. Fedida fraudulent business practices include illegal evictions as a California licensed attorney, State Bar No. 30,761, and as a real estate agent, Department of Real Estate 019 and 3460, and as an architect D/B/Fedida Properties D/B/FEI Properties. Other fraudulent business practices include filing false affidavits, to wit, Register of Action No. 8, a proof of service ch. 200 of notice of court hearing ch. 109 claiming that Richard English had been properly served Zachary Allen Miller Jr. S. no notice, ex parte emergency protective order, when Richard English failed to appear. Zachary Allen Miller Jr. then applied for and won a default judgment due to the English's non-appearance. Thereafter, with intent to evict Richard English from the adjacent property, Zachary Allen Miller Jr. made over 100, Code 3, 9-1- when swatting calls over a 180-day period of time falsely alleging violations of his emergency protective order. Zachary Allen Miller Jr. did knowingly making 100 false reports of an emergency protective order, which is a crime under Penal Code Section 148.5. Each of Miller's 100 false reports constitute a separate offence and is a predicate act pursuant to defendant's aforesaid conspiracy to illegally evict Richard English, under colour of law, from Ventura County, California, by force, fear and intimidation. August 5, 2022, Thomas J. Fedida was caught on camera committing the crime of sewer service, a felonious fraud on the court, in the case of Miller v.S. English Ventura Superior Court No. 56 2022 005668543, that involves the filing of Register of Action No. 8, a proof of service ch. 200 of notice of court hearing ch. 109, filing false document, with the Ventura Superior Court is a felony under California law. Thomas J. Fedida did knowingly violate Penal Code Section 115, which makes it a felony to knowingly file, register, or record a false or forged document in any public office within the state. Thomas J. Fedida SBN 30761 provided Register of Action No. 8 for filing, recording or registration with Ventura Superior Court, Ventura Superior Court No. 56 2022 005668543, knowing that the documents were false and a forgery when Thomas J. Fedida filed them or caused them to be filed. The documents, Register of Action No. 8, was one that, if genuine, could be legally filed. Count 3. Preparing false documentary evidence. Said Thomas J. Fedida SBN 30761 on or about between August 5, 2022 and August 11, 2022 and August 31, 2022, did unlawfully prepare a false paper, record, instrument in writing and other matter and thing, to wit, a proof of service of summons upon Richard English in Miller v. English, Ventura Superior Court No. 56 2022 005668543, upon which Thomas J. Fedida forged or caused to be forged the signature of Matthew Judge on August 5, 2022, under penalty of perjury, with intent to produce it and allow it to be produced for fraudulent and deceitful purpose as genuine and true, upon a trial, proceeding and inquiry whatever, to wit, by a filing, causing to be filed, and allowing to be filed said forged document with the Ventura Superior Court on August 11, 2022, violating Section 134 of the California Penal Code, a felony, 1623, Count 4, identity theft of the said Thomas J. Fedida, on or about between August 5, 2022 and August 11, 2022 and August 31, 2022, did willfully and unlawfully obtain personal identifying information of Matthew Jarger and use that information for an unlawful purpose with the consent of co-conspirator Matthew Jarger by using and signing, misspelling the name of Matthew Jarger upon a proof of service, Register of Action Number 8, upon Richard English in Miller v. English, Ventura Superior Court Number 56 2022 0056685543, under penalty of perjury, on August 5, 2022, on August 11, 2022, by filing, causing to be filed, and allowing to be filed, said forged document with the Ventura Superior Court on August 11, 2013, violating Section 530.5 of the California Penal Code, a felony, 1623, Count 5. False personation of the said Thomas J. Fedida on or about between August 5, 2022 and August 11, 2022 and August 31, 2022, did unlawfully and falsely personate Matthew Jarger in a private and official capacity and in such assumed character verified, published, acknowledged and proved in the name of Matthew Jarger, a written instrument, with the intent that the same be recorded, delivered and used as true, to wit, by using and signing Matthew Jarger upon a proof of service, Register of Action Number 8, upon Richard English in Miller v. English, Ventura Superior Court Number 56 2022 0056685543, under penalty of perjury, on August 5, 2022, on August 11, 2022, by filing, causing to be filed, and allowing to be filed, said forged document with the Ventura Superior Court on August 11, 2013, violating Section 529(2) of the California Penal Code, a felony 16-2, Count 6, forgery of the said Thomas J. Fedida, on or about between August 5, 2022 and August 11, 2022 and August 31, 2022, did unlawfully make forge, counterfeit and sign the name of another person, to wit Matthew Jarger upon a proof of service, Register of Action Number 8, upon Richard English in Miller v. English, Ventura Superior Court Number 56 2022 0056685543, under penalty of perjury, on August 5, 2022, on August 11, 2022, and utter, publish, pass and attempt to pass as true and genuine the same, to wit, by filing, causing to be filed, and allowing to be filed, said forged document, Register of Action Number 8 with the Ventura Superior Court, violating Section 470D of the California Penal Code, a felony 16-2, Count 7, Conspiracy Penal Code Section 182, a 1 and 2, that were said Thomas J. Fedida, on or about between August 5, 2022 and August 11, 2022 and August 31, 2022 did conspire with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarger to evict Richard English by filing a false proof of service in violation of Penal Code Section 115, Register of Action Number 8, with the Ventura Superior Court, in the case of Miller v. English, Ventura Superior Court Number 56 2022 0056685543, under penalty of perjury Thomas J. Fedida, Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarger on or about between August 5, 2022, August 6, 2022, August 20, 2022, August 11, 2022, and August 30, 2022, falsely and maliciously conspired to arrest Richard English and did arrest Richard English on February 15, 2023 for multiple violation of Miller's emergency protective order and thereafter indicted in the case of People of the State of California v. Richard English 2023-00-4275 FA, Conspiracy Penal Code Section 182. If two or more persons conspire one to commit any crime, two falsely and maliciously to indict another for any crime, or to procure another to be charged or arrested for any crime, J. Fedida SBN 30760, one has and continues to conspire with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarge to procure Richard English to be arrested and falsely and maliciously to indict Richard English for felony stalking in the case of People of the State of California v. Richard English 2023-00-4275 F for allegedly violating Miller's emergency protective order in the case of Miller v. English, Ventura Superior Court No. 56 2022-0056685543, Richard English, does further allege that his next-door neighbour at 2200 Nichols Canyon Road is Thomas J. Fedida, who resides at 2145 Nichols Canyon, California 90,046. Thomas J. Fedida SBN 30761 continues to conspire with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarge to willfully, unlawfully and knowingly procure and offer a false and forged instrument, Register of Action No. 8, as specified above, under California's Penal Code Section 182(1). Conspiracy to commit a felony is a felony itself, punishable with the same penalties as the underlying felony. Conspiracy Penal Code Section 182, pursuant to relate to Thomas J. Fedida and landlord Zachary Allen Miller Jr. common eviction schemes. Zachary Allen Miller Jr. made had false 911 emergency reports of crime section 48.5, alleging violations of Miller's emergency protective order. Richard English alleges that Thomas J. Fedida is guilty of stalking and conspiracy with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. evict Richard English from Ventura County and from Hollywood, California, on August 5, 2022. Richard English called the Ventura Sheriff's Department to report a man throwing garbage over the fence at 4W Avenida de las Flores, Thousand Oaks, California, 91,360, on August 8, 2022. Richard English called the Ventura Sheriff's Department to report he witnessed Thomas J. Fedida throw trash on August 5, 2022, and requested a stalking report be made. Zachary Allen Miller Jr.'s attorney Thomas J. Fedida was caught on camera committing sua service of Miller's emergency protective order and thereafter committed the crime of filing a false instrument in violation of Penal Code Section 115 and in conspiracy with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarge, who did aid and abet sua service of proof of service, Register of Action No. 8, of Miller's emergency protective order by filing or causing to be filed a false proof of service with the Ventura Superior Court in the case of Miller v. English, Ventura Superior Court No. 56 2022-0056685543, under penalty of perjury. Thomas J. Fedida sua service and conspiracy is a crime in California. Sua service involves intentionally failing to properly serve court papers. Thomas J. Fedida goal was to obtain, and he did obtain, a default judgment without Richard English's knowledge or opportunity to respond. Thomas J. Fedida sua service is considered fraud on the Ventura County Superior Court, and the actions of Thomas J. Fedida SBN 30761 in conspiracy with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarge has now resulted in criminal charges being cast against Richard English in the case of People of the State of California v. Richard English 2023-00-4275 FA, Register of Action No. 8, is proof of Penal Code Section 115 violation. Thomas J. Fedida State Bar No. 30,761, and Thomas J. Fedida is caught on camera August 5, 2022, committing sua service of Register of Action No. 8, a fraud on Richard English and the Ventura Superior Court. Thomas J. Fedida is guilty of conspiracy violating California Penal Code Section 182, since Thomas J. Fedida is a member of a conspiracy to illegally evict Richard English from Ventura County by Thomas J. Fedida filing of Register of Action No. 8 of false proof of service. Thomas J. Fedida, who intended to agree and did agree with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarge and that they are guilty of the crime of conspiracy to violate California Penal Code Section 115 a felony, clearly shown by the impartial photographic evidence showing Thomas J. Fedida SBN 30761 Cordon committing the crime of sewer service of Register of Action No. 8, a false proof of service with the Ventura Superior Court in the case of Miller v. English, Ventura Superior Court No. 56 2022 005668543, under penalty of perjury, on or about between August 5, 2022 and August 11, 2022 and August 31, 2022, at the time of their agreement to evict Richard English, mastermind Thomas J. Fedida and the other alleged members of Thomas J. Fedida conspiracy, together with Zachary Allen Miller Jr. and Matthew Jarger, intended that one or more of them would violate Penal Code Section 115 and to file or caused to be filed into the Public Record Register of Action No. 8, a false proof of service, and to commit perjury. At no time did Thomas J. Fedida or any co-conspirator abandon their conspiracy,